End of day 8 finds us in Tucson, Arizona. Al and I are making good time. We're pretty much on schedule. We're supposed to be in Phoenix tomorrow to pick up Al's brother in Phoenix. I think that's what I said. All right, so I should backtrack. I haven't really given a recap of the last few days, so I'll try to go backwards from today and remember all the good details. So today, before we got to Tucson, we went to Colossal Cave. And that was a 45-minute tour with Savannah, a very lovely young lady who was very knowledgeable about the cave. And that was kind of neat. It was warmer than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like 50 degrees down there, but it was 72 degrees, and that's pretty much normal from what they're telling us. So, but it was neat. Got to go down and see a bunch of formations, some cave bacon, some cave popcorn, popcorn with bacon. So yeah, that was neat. I got a new T-shirt, and so there was that. Before that, we rode from Tombstone along 82 and 83. It was a beautiful ride, just through lonely highways in the middle of nowhere, vast open fields, plains, I guess, with the mountains in the distance. It was just a gorgeous ride and a beautiful day for it too. I should mention that it was probably about 90 at some point during the day during our travels. So plenty of sun out there. We're using sunscreen, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so beautiful ride to the caverns. We had lunch in Tombstone. We stopped there this morning. That was our first leg of the trip from Safford to Tombstone. And we just took the super slabs down, got there around 11:30ish, give or take. And we walked around and checked out the different saloons and the attractions and whatnot. Everyone's trying to suck you in for some gun show. There's got to be at least 3 down there where they reenact something or just have an act. But there were people dressed up in old-timey garments and stuff, looking like the cops and the bad guys and all that good stuff. And we went into a saloon, and they were dressed up like, the old saloon ladies. So that was kind of neat, too. There was a can show. We didn't go. We did have lunch at Puny... I forget his name. Puny Pete, we'll say. I posted it on Facebook. There's a check-in. So if you're following me on Facebook, you can see that. We had a really good pulled pork sandwich. They had something like fire-ass barbecue sauce. I don't know. It wasn't that hot. We tasted it. So I don't know. Anyway, that was amusing. There's also a picture of that on Facebook. So you can backtrack and find that if you're following me there. All right. So before Tombstone, we spent the night in Safford. Bad news is we booked the night before so that we would have a room there. When we booked, there must have been a booking error because they had us there the night before we were supposed to get there, which was the night we made the arrangements for the next night. So I don't know. So we got charged for 2 rooms. I got charged for 2 rooms because I made the reservations. And it was not worth double payment, but whatever. So that's the little bit of bad news that's happened over the last few days. Before Safford, the day before, that would be day 7, we went through the southern part of this national forest area from Truth or Consequences. We decided to take the scenic ride. We had time. We still felt that we could hit Tombstone and Colossal Caves and be in Tucson by tonight. So we took the scenic route and stopped in Safford. It was really nice. We went through Silver City, had lunch there, which was kind of funny. I ordered just a Reuben. I wasn't trying to get fancy, but Al ordered a mandarin salad and was kind of disappointed when it showed up, and it was just iceberg lettuce and canned oranges on top with a chunk of chicken. He was a little disappointed by that. Some of the meals out here aren't what he expects. Like last night we had chicken fried steak with mashed potatoes and white gravy and green beans. And when he saw that the green beans were from a can, he kind of tilted his head. I was like, what the hell? So, yeah, exactly what I expected because I've done this kind of ride before, and I know what you get with chicken fried steak. You get canned green beans. So anyway, that was good. We had a few beers there, and then we got a 6-pack, went back to the room, and crashed out. That was Safford. It's into night in Safford. So day 7, we went through the Apache. What is it? The Apache National Forest, and we're cruising through the Apache National Forest, and off in the distance, I see this huge elk. And at first, I'm not sure if it's a statue or if it's real. And then it moved, and then it started running. The only thing I could think of was the time that deer started running, ran right into me as I was trying to ride by on a motorcycle. But luckily, the big guy turned and went the other way, and I didn't see it, but Al said there was a whole family of elk with him, which that would have been neat to see. I thought it was really great just to see the big buck sitting out there, his huge antlers just towering over the side of the road. It was really cool. So there was that. That's a nice little highlight. Silver City was a neat little town. I got a t-shirt there. So not much to it. Actually met somebody who was born and raised there. They're like 7th generation. So kind of neat to know that people still do that, you know. They stay in one place. And so anyway, I'm babbling. Let's get back to the road. So we went through the southern forest. It was gorgeous. Saw an elk, had lunch in Silver City, mandarin oranges out of a can. Go back to Truth or Consequences. So we pull into Truth or Consequences, and there's not much there anyway. Al was really hard pressed. He wanted to go down to this brewery, and we had it all set in our minds. As soon as we got to the hotel, we were going to check in, we were going to call an Uber, head down. And it might have been maybe 3 miles from the hotel. So we get in, and Al tries to get an Uber. No Ubers. So he tries to get a lift. No lifts. So we go and we talk to the woman at the front desk. There are no taxis, Ubers, Lyfts, or any other type of transportation service in Truth or Consequence because there's no business there. They can't make any money. So we were SOL when it came to getting a ride down to the T or C brewery. Al was really hoping to get a t-shirt from down there. I probably would have gotten one too. So we just settled for, what did we settle for? It was so long ago. 2 days. I think we had some Mexican food at a Mexican restaurant that was around the corner from the hotel. It's very vague. We've had so many Mexican meals this trip. It's kind of hilarious. And we got some 6s we got 2 6s for back in the room if I remember right. So, but that was another gorgeous day of riding from T or C to Safford. I needed a jacket, but by the time we got to Safford, it was so hot and I was ready to strip it off, but it just wasn't worth pulling over to drive another 15 minutes with it. You know, I just left it. Now, the day before that was a little chillier. That was the day we left, let's see, T or C. That means that's the day we left Roswell and went to El Paso and made it to T or C that evening. So out of Roswell, it was a little chilly. We were bundled. I had the leather pants on over my jeans. We basically had all our gear except our rain gear on. So we came down from Roswell into the Mescaline Apache Indian Reservation. I could be off on that. I've hacked it many times already. So we got our tickets we were going to do some zip lining there at the resort. Inn of the Mountain God Resort, owned by the Apache Indian nation there on the reservation. So we have to wait about an hour. We get there. We got there a little early. So hung out. I bought a $30 cigar, which is just, it's because it was a resort. It was a $10 cigar, and they just repackaged it and sold it for $30. But it was a good cigar. Bottega, I believe, or something like that. Anyway, we did our zip line. It was $50 for about a 45-second ride across a lake. Now, it was beautiful. It was neat. One were $50, but we did it. We we had an interesting driver. She was an Apache beauty pageant contestant, and one of her besties in the pageant circuit is actually the Osage Nation queen right now. So that was just kind of a neat little thing. I'm a member of the Osage Nation, and she just happened to know the beauty queen who is current reigning queen of the Osage Nation, or princess. I think it's a princess. So anyway, there was that. Then we proceeded down to El Paso. We made it to the outskirts of the city and just stopped in some place for lunch. It was good. It was a Mexican place. Go figure. Had a $5 burrito. It was a $5 burrito. Then we drove through town and up to TRC, and it was gorgeous almost all the way up. And then we saw this huge rain cloud just looming ahead of us. So we both looked at it, looked at each other, pulled over to the side of the road and started putting the rest of our rain gear on. That was the only thing we weren't really wearing that day. And we get it all on, and we get back on the road, and we're flying underneath this thing, and it's not a single drop of rain. I was sure it was the whole biker's rule of rain gear. If you put it on, it's not going to rain. But eventually we did run into some rain, so kind of glad we did throw on our gear. It was heavy. It wasn't as heavy as we'd seen, but it was heavy. So, and then we got into TRC and we got our room. So I think I backtracked all the way back as far as I need to go. I think we